This diagram is simple, but it is a devastating visual representation of why it is difficult to kick out rogue politicians in Nigeria. It shows three groups of Nigerians. At the top, a narrow crown of politicians. Below them, a vast middle layer, the majority of Nigerians. And at the very bottom, a small, compressed group of progressives, activists, and reformers. The diagram is not just a political chart, it is a mirror. And what it reflects should disturb every thinking Nigerian. We have spent decades analyzing Nigerian corruption through the lens of the political class alone. We examine the governors, the senators, the ministers, their looting, their impunity, their recycled faces across every election cycle. And we are right to do so. The political class is parasitic. That is not in dispute. But here is the structural question that we consistently fail to ask. Why does the parasitic class continue to survive, election after election, decade after decade, despite being so few in number? The answer is not found at the top of the pyramid. It is found in the middle. The middle tier is the most consequential and the most misunderstood group in Nigerian political life. It is the largest, it is the most diverse, and it is, functionally, a shield, not for Nigeria, but for the very politicians who exploit it. This group is not monolithic. It contains the party loyalist who receives a government appointment and defends his principle with religious devotion. It contains the market woman who collects N5,000 on election day and asks no further questions. It contains the educated professional who retreats into ethnic arithmetic when his group's candidate is on the ballot. And it contains the ordinary Nigerian who has simply been worn down, who has concluded that nothing will ever change, and has made peace with the smallest possible benefit from the existing order. What unites all of them is this. They derive something from the system. It may be a contract. It may be a bag of rice. It may be nothing more than the psychological comfort of tribal solidarity. But something flows to them. And that flow, however small, is enough to purchase their protection of the status quo. This is not merely weakness. In many cases, it is a rational response to scarcity. When a system has denied you so completely, you take what you can get. The tragedy is that in doing so, you become the system's most effective weapon against those demanding something better. At the bottom of the structure sit the activists, the reformers, the civic-minded Nigerians who march, who write, who organize, who refuse to surrender their conscience to convenience. They are not small in spirit, but they are small in number relative to the wall above them. And this is the trap that progressive movements in Nigeria have not yet fully solved. You cannot dismantle a structure by targeting only its architects when its foundations are held in place by millions of ordinary people. The political class does not need an army to suppress change. It has outsourced that function, often without payment, to the middle tier. Every time a citizen mocks a protester, every time a voter defends a corrupt official because he is our son, every time someone asks, what has activism ever achieved, they are doing the politician's work for free. The implication for those serious about political change in Nigeria is uncomfortable but necessary. The primary site of struggle is not Aso Rock. It is the mind of the middle Nigerian. Political education, community organizing, and sustained civic engagement must target not just the converted, those who already understand, but the persuadable mass in the middle. Some among them are deliberately complicit, and they may never be reached. But a significant portion have been deceived by religion, by ethnicity, by misinformation, by despair. These are not enemies. They are a constituency waiting to be claimed. Nigeria's progressives must resist the temptation to speak only to each other. The intellectual clarity of the activist community, while admirable, will not move a country if it remains confined to elite Twitter spaces and academic forums. The wall must be dismantled from within, and that requires patient, strategic, ground-level engagement with the very people who currently hold it up. And so as I conclude, please note that this diagram does not reflect pessimism. It is diagnostic. A doctor who names a disease correctly has already taken the most important step toward treating it. Nigeria is not trapped because its people are fundamentally broken. It is trapped because a sophisticated system of patronage, ethnic manipulation, and manufactured helplessness has convinced the majority that their interests are best served by protecting the minority that exploits them. That is a lie. And the work of every activist, every reformer, every progressive Nigerian is to make that lie impossible to believe. The wall did not build itself, which means it can be taken down, and the time to pick up the sledgehammer is now.
Very soon, they'll start to give you a rice.
Once they bring rice, come, not say they want to deceive you.
Any government where they share rice, no say that government not be better government.
Say, give me load, no give me rice.
No
rice be my problem.
Say rice, na nothing.
Rice, na nothing.
Rice, na nothing.
Rice, na nothing.